Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. The return of the king is coming really soon, people. And I'm going to sit here, man, and label him as the king. And the reason I'm labeling this man as a king, now I didn't say he beat Crawford and Spence, so get that out your brains. But what I'm saying is, you know how hard it is for a human being, much less an athlete on the level of Jaron Ennis, to come out and say, I recognize that there were some things I did wrong in my last fight, and I acknowledge that, and I'm working on those things. So to all the fans out there, just letting you know, I'm coming back stronger and smarter, and I'll make sure not to make those mistakes. To come out and say that I watched the video, I watched the fight, and I see the mistakes I made. I see how I wasn't able to cut the ring off. You guys know how hard it is for someone to do that at his level? Much less your damn neighbor who won't bring his damn trash can in off the side of the street. He said, I didn't know it was my trash can. But he won't apologize because he got a stinking trash can sitting out there in the middle of the street. And it gets knocked over every now and then, and you can see whatever little bit of weird stuff they had in the garbage bag that spills out into his trash can. How that crap gets out there into the damn neighborhood. So what I'm getting at is when you talk about Jaron Ennis, man, I personally think this. Based on that last performance, I wasn't too sure about him going forward. But one thing I will say, to be a 30 wins, 0 losses, 27 knockouts, right? There's got to be something special about your hands. And when you look at that one-sided 12-round unanimous decision over this guy, Chikadzian, right? Because they fought in, I don't know what they fought, like January 7th, something like that, right after the New Year's. When Chikadzian came out and said, this is where I kind of eased up on Jaron Ennis and said, all right, man, I'm gonna give him a chance to redeem himself. When Chikadzian said, Boots Ennis hit extremely hard. He's like, he knew he couldn't stand in front of him and take those shots. Right there, that told me, I said, all right, hold on. I understand he wasn't able to cut the ring off, and we had these lofty expectations for him because we got accustomed to seeing. But at the end of the day, when you're at that level, you got to be able to cut the ring off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're going to be able to stop the person from running around the ring all night, but you should be able to cut that ring off, and better than that. So as far as Jaron Ennis' performance, in particular, we're talking about cutting the ring off, I give him a D on that night. But, I mean, anybody who can take a guy who uses the ring and moves around and can actually cut him off 50% of the time and land some shots, you got to give him an A for that because, some guys' style is just being that, lateral movement, pivoting, turning you, getting underneath your shots, getting out the way, and then continuing to move around the ring. It's very hard to just get someone in the corner and just stop them. It's hard to stop a mover because that's their game. They're used to people trying to cut the ring off and pressure them. They know how to deal with that. But that being said, when you look at what's going on with Boots Ennis now, man, his goal was to return to the ring very, very soon. He talked about, initially he was talking about Roiman Villa or Ellis, but now it looks like he's going to be fighting Roiman Villa. Now, what's so interesting about it is because Boots Ennis, man, has that IBF interim title. So he's going to be defending that. And that is good to see. It should make him feel good because now he comes in, he gets announced as the IBF champion, and he gets what I'm going to call as a stay busy fight. But if he's fighting Roiman Villa, Roiman Villa is not a stay busy type opponent. You saw what Villa did to Rashidi Ellis. Rashidi Ellis was outboxing him for the most part, and he got himself into some trouble in that last round. But with Boots Ennis, this right here, this fighter may be tailor-made for him. Now, obviously Villa can fight. Obviously he's got some pop. to be in the 12th round and still be able to knock somebody down and, you know, pretty much out on their feet, that means you got something special about your hands. But he's not going to run. So Boots Ennis, in this fight, I think he's going to be able to, I'm not saying he lost any fans, but any of those fans are kind of giving him the hairy eyeball, you know, like, yeah, we don't know if he's really the next best thing at welterweight. I think he's going to get them to kind of, you know, shave some of that hair off that eyeball and, you know, and see through a very clear lens that Boots Ennis is probably the guy who's going to be carrying the welterweight division forward. But he's going to have to figure something out because he's going to be in the holding pattern, man. Because, you know, everybody, this is what sucks, right? Although there's some movement in the welterweight division, there's still somewhat of a damn bottleneck because everybody is fighting these damn title eliminators and becoming the interim this and the interim that, all with a hope of fighting. Really, they all been lined up to fight Earl Spence. So at some point, you know, they say pressure bust pipes, right? Something's got to give. Because what we're seeing happening here in 2023 is the same thing we saw happening last year. The damn bottleneck was already starting. It's a bottleneck. These belts have to get defended. They still aren't being defended. We're going into March, man. We're already continuing with the same crap from last year. Like, they got to sort it out. You know, they've got to sort it out. But for Boots Ennis, man, I just think Boots Ennis, man, is on his way. I really do. The fact that he was able to sit back with his team. Those guys said, remember, they said they don't watch footage. I bet you they're watching footage now. Obviously, they went back and took a look at the fight and said, you know what? Man, we dropped the ball. And going forward, like this guy Villa, they saw him fight that night. They saw what he did to Rashidi Ellis. Matter of fact, Boots Villa was hoping to fight Rashidi Ellis next. But Rashidi Ellis, you know, hey, look, he dropped the ball. But Boots can't come now after fighting Chikadze and fight Rashidi Ellis. Rashidi Ellis taking that loss. Rashidi Ellis has to regroup. He's going to fight the guy who beat him. But at the end of the day, man, with all these sanctioning bodies and all this crap going on, you know, his team is just going to have to sit back, watch video on different fighters, try to find the biggest name. They're not going to get Spence. They're not going to get Crawford. And then from there, go on and fight and stay active. Like, they've got to stay active. They have to, you know? Because what I noticed about Boots Ennis, by him responding and putting that little blurb out the other day about how he recognized that he could have done some things better, in particular cutting the ring off, that tells me that he enjoys criticism. And that criticism, to me, I think it motivates him. You know, I don't think we're going to have mental health issues with a guy like him. I think he's a guy who's like, who can say, you know what? Look, I messed up. You see, when you agree with a person, if someone's like, well, you know, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you say, you know what, you're right, I agree with you. That person has no choice but to shut up. Now, if they keep talking, then, I mean, they're just miserable people. There's nothing you can do about that. But once you say, I agree with you, man, I dropped the ball. Everything you said is right. I could have done some things differently. There's nothing to say. He didn't come and make excuses. The only thing that was said that I thought was a little bit crazy is when his dad said he doesn't know how that guy Chikadze and was able to move the whole fight like that. He wondered what he had in his system. Some people said he was saying it as a compliment, saying, damn, for a guy to move like that, what the hell do you have in his system? And then, you know, some of us took it as he was, you know, suggesting some foul play. But the bottom line is you got to be more responsible with your words when you're at this level, because maybe his dad didn't mean anything by it, but still he said it, and it left things open to interpretation. And that's why we're talking about it right now. But for him, man, he says, look, man, they just motivate me, man. You know what I'm saying? They're going to make it worse on my next opponent. And it doesn't matter what they do, what people say. He was like, you know what? People are going to have things to say about it, but it's my job to do something. And I am glad to hear him talk like that, man. You know, we're going to see what happens. He says he doesn't plan on his next fight going past 6 rounds. And to be honest with you, he needs to keep that mentality. Keep that mentality. Get guys out the ring. You know, if it goes 12, obviously we know this man could probably do 15 rounds because he didn't even look tired. He was still plugging along and trying to trying to catch up to his opponent. And it's very important that his next opponent is not a runner. You know what I mean? Because if he ends up, and we know Villa is not a runner, but sometimes when you end up with these guys who have that good footwork and lateral movement and, run sometimes around the ring, it just makes it damn near impossible for anyone to look good, And I got to be honest with that, with myself, and how I even can be a little judgmental on guys and hard on them. But then again, I've never fought on their level, but I've boxed, you know what I'm saying? I know how it is to be in a ring with somebody. If they don't belong in there with you, you got to get them out. But it makes me think about sparring. And sparring a guy who moved a lot and was grabbing me and tying me up, and he didn't like what he felt, and he tied me up, and it reminds me of being in a situation where I was tired in a fight, in a sparring session, but I got put in with somebody. I got pretty much set up, man. But anyway, my ass was tired, and I remember it's like the second round. This guy's coming on strong, and my body was shaking. Like, that's how tired I was. I was out of shape. I wasn't expecting to be put in a life or death situation. But I know how that is when you can make the fight ugly, man. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do to survive. Anybody who's ever sparred or fought, man, I think we've all been there. You have a lot of good days, but you have some days too where, especially if you're out of shape and you're in there fighting someone who's in shape, and that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing to do. Even if they're just, playing around in all speed. I mean, you're dead tired and they're laughing and playing. Me and my boy, we used to spar a lot. And I catch his ass. He'd be dead tired, man. And I'd be, I of course not trying to hurt him. We were boys, man. But I'd be laughing and tagging him to the body. Nothing hard, man. But I just knew he was tired, And he grabbed me, and we just, at the end of the round, we laugh. And he'd sit there and stretch out in the middle of the ground, dead tired. But I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Anyone who's boxed has been there, man. But these guys are a whole nother level, man, a whole nother level. But I said all that just to say this, man. Guys who get in the ring will do what they have to do, especially when they realize things aren't going their way or they start to experience fatigue. But my thing is, what kind of money? What kind of money that he's going to be making in his next fight? He got the title now. He got to pay a little bit of sanctioning fees now, which I think sucks. But, hopefully he's getting paid some decent money. Hopefully, man. Because this guy he's fighting is definitely not a walk in the park. But he should be back in the ring May or June. And we're going to see what happens after that. But, 3 times the ring is what he needs. 3 times a year. So he got one in January, May, in June, July, August, September, October. Then hopefully a big fight at the end of the year. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But that being said, Jaron Ennis returning middle of the year against Roiman Villa, and he is looking to get him out of there within 6, and he's looking to show everyone the improvements and that he's still a lion. And one thing I want to say this, although that I felt that he failed the test because he was just caught up in all the damn bling, man. That before I end this video, right? You can't be coming to a damn fight, 1,000 diamond necklaces on, man, a big piece of outfit on, pulling up in Lamborghini trucks. Everybody got a truck. You got a fresh little haircut. You there trying to impress people in and out the ring before you get in the ring, man. You already distracted with all that clown jewelry on, big stupid necklaces on, man. Come on, man. That's corny. And I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about all these guys coming with all that. That's just stupid. Come in there, man. It's coming there, man, ready to go. Mike Tyson, towel around the neck, black shorts. Put some socks on. Don't come in the ring because I'm sure they get blisters on their toes and feet. Like, you don't want to come out the ring and your feet all blistered up. Put some damn socks on. But lock in like Mike Tyson used to lock in, man. Quit worrying about all this, how you going to look when you're pulling up and you leaned over the seat with your right arm over the seat and you're looking back. You're trying to back your Lamborghini truck in and you're coming out and you want everyone to know. Like, that shit, stupid. Talking about your watch. I got this watch on. I got 50 on my neck. That's is corny. And he got caught up in that. But I bet you for this next fight, he won't be caught up in that. I bet you he won't. I bet you he'll come to strictly business, just like EPMD. Watch. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. The king coming back. I hope this man handles business. I hope he knocks Villa out. And I hope he gets back to his KO winning ways. And hopefully he gets the big fight. I just don't think he's going to ever get Spencer Crawford unless he goes up to 154. I just don't think they're going to hang around to fight him. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. I'm in the breeze.